alam mo ba, may point ka dyan. Sino si Juan? Paki-explain nga. Now I know. Lumalalim ang kwento, na-realize ko lang. Correct me if I'm wrong. Makabuluhang usapan, ating pagsaluhan. Tara na't magkwentuhan. Pag narinig niyo yan, anong unang pumapasok sa utak nyo? Ay, syempre, Bong Revilla, no? Philippine politics, no? Election, no? Kampanya, nako! Hindi pwedeng mawala yung mga ganyang klaseng jingle. Saan ba nagsimula yung mga klaseng jingle na ganyan? At kailangan ba talaga sa kampanya yan? Kailangan ba talaga ng mga Pilipino yan? Pwede bang plataforma na lang pag-usapan natin? Wala na mga jingle na ganyan? Malalaman natin yan ngayong episode na ito. Kaya makabuluhang usapan, ating pagsaluhan, tara na't magkwentuhan! Ay, oo nga pala, pupunta nga pala ako dito. Ang guest natin ngayon ay paldong-paldo sa Pogi Points, Talino Points, Ligtas Points, at pati na rin Cycling Points dahil ina-advocate niya ang cycling. Bakit ba puro points ang pinagsasabi ko? Dahil expertise niya ang pagbibilang. Siya lang naman ang dating COMELEC Commissioner na nagpaandar ng nationwide automated elections sa Pilipinas. Mga kababayan, please welcome Attorney Gregorio Goyo Larrazabal.
Goyo Larrazabal.
James, salamat. Salamat sa pag-imbita sa akin dito.
Maraming salamat, Sir
karangalan
Goyo. Alam ko napaka-busy po ninyo.
Okay na.
Ano po bang pinagkakaabalahan nyo ngayon?
Well, work ng konti. Then, dapat ang plano doon is, di ba, I drive around the Philippines. Umiikot ako, pero medyo mahirap mag-ikot ngayon kasi medyo mataas yung presyo ng
Gas,
gas.
oo.
Oo, eh.
Gusto ko yung sinabi nyo, Sir Goyo, na work ng konti. Ano po ba yung konting work na yun?
I do election law practice.
Mm-mm.
I have my own office. I had Larrazabal Law. I'm with Divina Law now,
Okay.
Divina Law Office, and we help people in mga tanong nila about elections.
Bakit pala nauwi kayo sa election law? Ito ba ang passion ninyo?
Well, I belong to a political family. My mom, my dad, sister, brother, cousins, titos, titas. were
How do you
into
brush your
politics.
teeth?
They were into politics, and I grew up in politics. And after I passed the bar exam, I was asked to help a nationwide campaign.
Mm.
Then after that one, I did a little practice from in the Visayas. Then pumasok ko sa COMELEC.
So parang buong buhay nyo na sa politics na talaga kayo na linya.
Slight, but it's not. I'm in politics, but I'm not inside politics. I mean, say kung you're in politics, like what I am now, what I do now is kung gusto mong tumahimik, kung gusto mo wala kang kausap, okay yun.
Okay.
But if you're in politics itself or you're in government, hindi pwede yun. 24/7 dapat on call ka.
Nako. Bigyan nyo nga kami, Sir Goyo, ng context. Kasi gaano ba kaswerte ang mga Pilipino ngayon in terms of election? So, pagdating sa malayang pagboto, ano ba ang context nito kumpara noong panahon ng mga Kastila? Ewan ko, Sir Goyo,
Okay,
kung nabuhay na kayo nun, pero baka
Bata pa ako.
nadaanan nyo rin po.
Puti yung buhok ko, pero bata pa ako. So, okay lang yan.
Para kayo ang Richard Gere ng COMELEC
Hindi,
tuloy.
hindi. Mataba lang ako.
Yeah.
So, I came in, I did election law practice, and I came in COMELEC in 2004.
Mm-mm.
Manual elections pa yun. Alam natin lahat gaano kagulo yung 2004 elections.
Mm-mm.
And 2010 elections, which I was the chairman of the steering committee, we oversaw the shift from manual elections to automated elections. Ang daming questions doon because you're coming from presidential elections that so there are some questions
Yes.
regarding the results, and how do you convince the people that automated elections is better?
Mm-mm.
The best indicator of gaano ka effective yung automated elections is kung manual elections pa yan, araw, minsan mga linggo, minsan buwan bago malaman sino nanalo pagka-senador,
Mm-mm.
sino nanalo pagka-presidente. In 2010, within 24 hours, alam na ng mga tao unofficially sino nanalo. a clear indicator there was that yung mga medyo matanda ng konti,
Mm.
for presidential elections or senatorial elections sa 90s or 2004, 2001, ilang araw, ilang linggo, headlines pa yun, anong tally? Di ba? Anong tally ng
Opo.
resulta? In 2010, I think 3 days after elections, wala nang news about the count. Tapos na eh. Alam na nila, people are going back to the regular jobs or daily life. Ang kagandahan doon is, it gave a lot of political capital to the incoming president, that was President Aquino, for his administration.
For turnover
Yes.
from
So
the
maganda yun.
previous.
As in, that was landmark and that was the most advanced automated elections in the whole world. Philippines.
Talaga po?
Oo. May kausap akong mga foreign observers there. From Southeast Asia yung isang delegate. Sabi, I can't believe you're crazy enough to do this because it's so hard to do.
Alin po yung pag-transition?
Yung pag-transition.
Mm.
That was before elections. So, after elections, I saw that person. Kita ko siya. Oh, you still think you're crazy? Yes. You did elections. It went well. But I think you're still crazy because it was so difficult to do, but you still did it. But when you talk about elections, you see, at that time, ako yung head ng steering committee. So ako yung parating nagsasalita. The commission was the chairman and 6 commissioners. Pero ako yung front and center. You saw me, but you didn't see the thousands of Filipinos working around the Philippines to make it successful. So I was probably just a symbol of it, but the credit should go to the different stakeholders all over the Philippines. Sila po yung walang tulog, sila po yung grabing sakripisyo, sa grabing trabaho to make sure that the first automated elections in the Philippines was successful.
Nabanggit niyo po na pinaka-advance ang Pilipinas.
At that time,
At
2010.
that time.
2010. Oo.
Pero yung in terms of ano po, yung pagiging malaya sa pagboto. Isa ba tayo Pilipinas na malayang nakakaboto kumpara sa ibang bansa na communism?
Several ways to look at that, no? One is the most obvious is, malaya ka ba pumunta sa voting center, pupunta sa presinto para bumoto? In that regard, malaya tayo. Pero in terms of
Safety.
Safety and also the level of the democracy na people choose according to qualifications, people choose because they think that the candidate is qualified, as compared to people vote for a particular candidate because of some consideration, medyo hindi pa tayo umabot sa destination na dapat mas sabi natin na okay tayo. Because, sorry, but I have to say this, that we're still at the point na people do not put as much emphasis on qualifications, performance, as they should. Ang hingin nila is, anong ayuda na makuha ko? Anong makuha ko for voting for this candidate? May makain ba ako tonight because may convince sa akin to vote for this candidate? So, we have to get to a point na we vote because the person deserves it and we deserve that person, that candidate, instead of we vote for a person because of some factors that are not really in line with the development of the Philippines.
Bakit ganun po bumoto yung mga Pilipino? Parang, minsan, dati, parang feeling ko nag-improve naman na.
It's improving, no? Compared to before. I mean, it's
Kasi
improving.
dati, kung sino lang ang gwapo, kung sinong sikat. Ngayon, nasabi niyo yung kung sino yung magbibigay ng ayuda. Parang lumiit yung circle of influence at concern ng mga Pilipino.
Okay.
Parang mas naging selfish ba sila?
Di naman. I think it's more of survival, eh. For example, ikaw, botante ka. Sasabihin ko sa'yo, James, boto mo ako. I will provide development for your municipality. I will build bridges. I will build a school para yung mga anak mo may mapuntahan to study. And another person goes to you na, James, ito, boto ka para sa akin, ito yung pera. Or ito yung ayuda.
Ay, ikaw boboto ko. Yan, yung ayuda.
You know why?
Bakit po?
Because we're not at the point where people have left the dependency on others. We're still at the point na parang iniisip mga tao is ano makuha ko ngayon. Hindi yung ano makuha ko 3 years from now. Anong makuha ng family ko or benepisyo na makuha ng pamilya ko for the next 3 years. Ang iniisip na, ano ang benefit na makuha ko
Right now.
for today
Mm-mm.
and this week. Yun talaga. So, I'm sorry, but yun talaga. That's reality. And it's changing, but mahaba pa yung proseso.
Dala po ba yan ng social class na mas marami pa rin ang below poverty line? Kaya ganun pa rin ang pag-iisip nila na kung may makakain ako ngayong araw na to, yun ang boboto ko.
Posible, pero also na parang there has to be a trust to educate the voters to make them realize dapat malaman nila na by giving or voting for a particular person na may makuha ka for today, sinisakripisyo mo yung 3 taon na may makuha kang mas malaking benepisyo. It's kasi it's something that's an abstract benefit as compared to something that's concrete that they get
Yes.
and they feel right now.
Yes, kasi kung ako nga rin naman yung nagugutom, mas gusto ko nang makakain ngayon kaysa next 3 years pa ako kakain.
Exactly. Unahin ko yung importante. Ano makain ako? Ano makain ko? Ano makain ng pamilya ko? Today, this week, tomorrow, as compared to 3 taon, sasabihin, buhay pa ba ako ng next 3 years? So, these are inconvenient truths. People have to understand what we should talk about, what people should discuss, and should we put to the forefront para malaman ng mga tao na ito yung importante.
Ano po kaya ugat nito? Tsaka kailan siya nag-start?
Tagal na yun.
Simula pa ba panahon ng mga Kastila ito? O nung time na sinakop tayo ng mga Amerikano? Or yung naging independent na tayo? Ganun pa rin? Ba't ganun pa rin?
I think it's different levels, no? And you can't pinpoint it to a particular period or period of our history. It's just a confluence of a lot of things that led to this. But doesn't mean just because nandito tayo, we're improving that we should stop making things better. Kasi in terms of election management, in terms of democracy, you don't look at it na if you do something, dapat lahat doon mangyari now. Dapat yon okay, I have 10 goals. Ito yung 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ito yung 10 goals ko to improve Philippine democracy. Hindi lahat magawa mo in one election. So, sasabihin mo, okay, out of 10, number 6 and number 4, ma-achieve ko these elections. So, in the next elections, ito naman ma-achieve ko. You have to look at it long-term on how to solve problems. And there will be setbacks, For example, yung mga plano mo, hindi mo magawa this election, it's not the end of the world. You can still
Run.
and you can still advocate. For example, may isang kandidato na ganda ng advocacy, ganda ng plano, pero hindi nanalo ko silang pera. So you don't stop there because maybe he will win next time. Abraham Lincoln lost several times before he won as president of the US, di ba? So the elections is not a death sentence. It's just probably if you don't achieve something now, you can achieve it in the next elections. And I'm talking about general programs to improve elections in the Philippines, improve democracy, improve the trust and the moving away from the usual na pagboto mo as compared to looking out for what's really important for your family.
Kasi nabanggit nyo, dapat manalo muna para magawa. Or hindi naman kailangan manalo kung meron kang genuine advocacy. Pero doon tayo naman sa paano manalo. Kailan ba nagsimula yung paggawa ng mga kandidato ng mga jingle? At gaano ka-importante yung jingle, advertisement para manalo ang isang kandidato?
Okay,
yung naalala ko noon si Magsaysay po ba ang may unang jingle sa Pilipinas?
Magsaysay is my guy, ba yan?
Mambo Magsaysay.
Mambo Magsaysay. That one is a very, very popular jingle. Considering how Filipinos love to sing, I'm sure before that, may mga jingles na ginagamit sa kampanya, lokal, mga ganyan. But that was I think the first time na grabe yung impact ng jingle. Through the years, there have been songs that caused the candidate to win.
Example, sino yung mga kandidatong napapailing ka na lang?
I-ask your viewers to comment talaga. That reminds me of a time na may kausap akong botante. Bakit binoboto mo yan? Kasi magaling sumayaw. Magaling kumanta.
Yes.
Yung sayaw talaga. I said, why? Because they're entertained. See, that's the problem here. When you talk about elections, people look at it as entertainment. How will you entertain me now? That's wrong.
Mm-mm.
You're voting for a person not because they know how to sing, not because they know how to dance, but because they can perform the functions of that office they are running for. Example ko parati, may barbero ako na who used to cut my hair. Sobrang galing. But I'm not going to vote for him for mayor. I'm not going to vote for him councilor.
Pero kung
because
magaling po siya sumayaw.
punta lang siya sa showbiz. Showbiz na siya. Showbiz na. And that's how unfortunate people look at it na. Parang they look at it as entertainment. Before, if you go on stage, you see candidates, they talk about issues. They talk about gut issues. Pagkain, anong mangyari.
Kailan po yung before na yan?
Not before, but even in the 80s, 90s, may makita mo, sobrang talino ng mga kandidato. They have a speech. Pagkatapos doon, anong nangyari? Yung mga tao, mag-tune out. Di ba?
Mm.
Magkakain, magkakwento. But, kung may biglang kakanta, oh my God.
Mocha
Ang mga
girls, gaga.
Wala akong sinabi sino, but I'm saying, marami doon na parang sasayaw sila. Biglang yung matawa, tanungin mo mga tao, sino maalala na yung sa rally? Out of like, for example, 12 senators, 10 na magandang
Maganda
speech.
sinabi, maganda
Yung
plataforma.
dalawa kakanta or sasayaw. Sino maalala ng mga tao?
Yung kakakanta at saka sasayaw.
Especially yung, sorry, I have to say this, especially magdadala ng mga artista na sobrang gwapo, hunk, or next mag-sexy na babae. It's sad, but we're veering away from that. But you have to understand that these are the pitfalls of the election process we have. And they do it because they want to be entertained. Ang daming problema sa buhay. They feel that di masolusyonan ng mga problema nila. So, ay, pupunta ako doon para ma-entertain lang ako. Wala mga kumukuha, ito na lang kukunin ko. Alam ko yung isang tao sobrang ganda ng advocacy pero hindi marunong sumayaw.
Sir Goyo, paano yan? Dapat ba, kung sayaw lang ang kaya nila, dapat ba i-consider silang nuisance candidates? Ba't hindi natin sila i-consider na ganon?
Nuisance candidates are a tricky subject kasi there are different kinds of nuisance candidates. For example, may candidate na for
Opo.
national candidates. One of the important criteria there is that you can run a nationwide campaign. So for example, ako, kandidato ako, dami kong pera, bilyonaryo ako, tatakbo ko senador, pagkatapos may pera ako, may plano ako. So legitimate ako na kandidato, pero ang gagawin ko lang sayaw at saka kanta. So what distinguishes that candidate from another candidate na walang pera, may advokasya, may plano, pero again, walang pera. So, he can't run a nationwide campaign.
So, pera lang po ba ang dahilan kung
No
bakit?
naman, it's not only money, but there has to be, like for example, kung tatakbo kang national, dapat ideally may political party ka who endorses your certificate of candidacy or score na yan that nominates you. I'm trying to simplify it, but that's a very complex discussion as to what defines a nuisance candidate. So, nuisance candidate, may national, may nuisance candidate sa local. Nuisance candidate can be na walang nagawa, gusto lang mag-file, that's ministerial on the part of COMELEC to receive, di ba? Pagkatapos, wala lang, trip lang niya mag-file. Who should stop him from being a candidate, di ba? Or may iba na, for example, may kandidato na sobrang lakas. Next, yung kalaban, ang gagawin niya, he'll find a person with the same surname of that candidate to file to run also para ma-confuse yung mga tao. Before, now, with automated elections, sasabihin mo lang, boto mo lang yung numero, di ba? You vote for the number. But before, kasi sa manual elections, dapat isulat mo yung pangalan. Kung parehong pangalan doon, there's an issue regarding who should that vote go to, di ba? So, it's medyo complex, but when you talk about nuisance candidates, maraming mga criteria doon, and even if there are general principles that you should follow, each and every case should be treated distinct from the other.
Sino pong favorite niyong nuisance candidate? Yung ano, si Rastaman ba?
Hindi. Alam mo yung,
Alan Carion.
no, yung tumakbo na, yung wig.
Ay, si Eddie Hill.
Eddie Hill ba yun?
Yung may pababayaran daw niya yung utang ng Pilipinas.
Oh, at saka nagpelikula nga siya, di ba?
Ah,
May isa pa na, sino yung isang kandidato na naglagay ng spikes along EDSA?
ha? May ganun?
Oo.
Pamatong?
Yeah, Eddie Pamatong.
Eddie Pamatong.
Eddie Pamatong, if he was the one na naglagay ng spikes along EDSA. Those are the two people who would file for candidates for president.
Yung natatandaan niya at paborito niyo sila.
Hindi favorite, tandaan ko lang. Especially sa pagkatakbo ng senators, ang dami mga nuisance candidates doon na for them it's when you file kasi for mangyayari doon is pasalitain ka ng mga 3 or 5 minuto.
Mm-mm.
That's their 15 minutes of fame. So they do it because they want to say something. Iba, they want to push on advocacy.
Media
Think
mileage
they
din yan.
don't think they can win, but they want that opportunity to voice out what they have in their in their mind.
To thank the following sponsors: Buffalo's Wings and Things, Barong Rosales,
Sir Goyo, yung pagdating naman sa sa automated election, parang napapansin ko simula nung ginawa niyo yung automated election ng 2010, ang
Yes.
daming controversy doon na dayaan. Pero parang eventually nawawala yung lumuonti na yung mga nagrereklamo tungkol sa dayaan. Nung time ba na yon, meron ba talagang dayaan na nangyari?
Well, I was in charge of 2010 elections, so I can only speak for the 2010
Yes,
elections.
2010.
There was none. The 2010 elections, we made sure that there were safeguards in the process that even if people had questions, for example, may isang kritiko, he asked a question, sasagutin namin yan. As in, sasagutin. The next forum, that critic would ask the same question again.
Sasagutin nyo rin ulit.
Hindi ko pwede sasabihin, "Psst, pare, nasagot ko na yan." Hindi. Because ang mindset namin before is not everybody gets to hear your explanation. So even if that person asked and raised that issue that was already answered 99 times before, on the 100th time, if you don't answer it, there might be 5 people in that forum who might cast aspersions as to the outcome result. So it's a non-stop work program 24/7 that you have to keep people informed. Transparency is key. Transparency is key. Kung may mga tanong sila, sagutin mo. Kung ayaw lang maniwala, wala ka na magawa doon.
Tsaka wala namang magsasabi na nanalo na may nandaya. Meron ba nagsabi na nanalo siya tapos sinabi, ay, dinaya ako ng Comelec kahit nanalo ako. Lagi namang yung talo ang nagsasabi na dinaya sila eh.
Well, and that happens all over the world, no? But just because a candidate who lost in that election says dinaya siya, you don't shrug it off. Mali yun. You have to show to them that what are the facts and the results of that elections. For example, kung may magprotesta, you don't say, "Ay, wala na yun." No, you have to explain to the people that ito yung proseso, ito yung mga balota, itong recount, para makita na talaga na to assuage their concern and doubt as regards that elections. Because every elections should be treated separately. Just because you answer the questions in one elections, the next elections, they will ask the same questions. So you have to answer it again. You have to reach out to people to make them understand, explain things, rope them in, bring them as part of the process.
After ba nung natapos niyo yung automated election na yun, sinabi niyo ba sa sarili, hindi ko na gagawin to ulit?
Hindi, kasi at that time, I retired from Comlec eh. I served on an expired term, so I retired from Comlec in 2011. So,
Ano pong dahilan ng retirement niyo?
I served an unexpired term eh. Because normally, dapat 7 years yan.
Mm-mm.
But since unexpired term lang ako, kasi namatay yung isang commissioner na pinatan ko,
Mm-mm.
I served only as commissioner 1 year, 6 months. Pero, 2013, 2016, 2019, I think a lot of people's media still came to me to explain the automated election process. Ang rule ko naman is, tanungin mo members ng NBank, kung walang maka-attend to answer, I will answer. Because, again, the advocacy ko at that time until now is you need to keep people informed.
At hanggang ngayon, 2026, tinatanong pa rin namin kayo tungkol sa automated election.
And see, that's the cool thing about it because it just goes to show that people are interested. People want to know more. And if people are curious, you satisfy the curiosity by sharing information to make them informed. May kausap ko abogado. Sabi ko, when was the last time you voted? They still call me Com eh. Com, yung hindi pa ko abogado, that was mga 2016. So that person, no, hindi pa siya botante at that time, 2016, she helped as a poll watcher. Not everybody who we explained to in 2013, 2010, 2016 might not have been there. So it's incumbent on the government to keep informing
Laging
people.
may bagong
Lagi may bago.
botante
Every year, now there's a lot of youth voters. There's always youth voters naman, but now there are youth voters who are tech savvy, and we have several social media platforms that can be used to inform people. And it's a war now as to getting the right information out, because especially sa like TikTok, IG, FB, maraming mga experts na nagsasabi ito. But when I see it, alam ko naman mali, di ba? But that just goes to show how imperative it is to share the right information.
unending ang pag-share ng
It's never
true
ending.
information.
Yes, it's never ending. Just because you explain it once doesn't mean say that's it. You have to explain it siguro 1,000 times more.
Nako. Wala na kayong pahinga niyan, Sir Goyo.
Ay, wala na ako kasi Comlex. Okay na ako. I can do it on the side. I can do it not as much as before. But when we were in Comlex, payat ako doon. I'm waiting for somebody to say, pet ka pa rin yan. But, wala. Okay.
Wala po nagsabi.
Wala.
Ako sana magsasabi, kaso wala nagsabi.
Okay. So,
Sabihin ko na, sir, payat pa rin naman kayo ngayon.
salamat ha. Salamat. Okay. So,
Pwede naman po edit yun. Sabi
pwede edit. Okay. Before, wala pa masyadong social media. I remember the news would come out. Wala pa masyadong Twitter, wala pa masyadong Facebook doon. So, the newspapers would come out with their headlines mga 12:30 ng umaga. So, ako naman, para di ako matulog, every night. So, hintayin ko yan, 12:30. Pagkatapos, pag out na yan, I'd read like a couple, like 6 or 7 newspapers, headlines. Pagod na yun. Then, I'd wake up 5 o'clock or 4:30 in the morning. By 5 o'clock or a short after, may tatawag na yan. Asking questions regarding yung mga news. So, I had to do that. Hindi pwedeng when you wake up, then that's the only time you read the news. And you have to explain. When people call you, the reporters, the desk, you have to be able to answer those questions. So, ito sa 24/7 na walang halos tulog. But the goal there, because you wanted to have successful elections. You wanted to have people more informed. Because when you sleep, pagising mo, at least alam mo na nabasa mo na eh. Di ba? Nabasa mo na.
Handa ka na, sir.
Handa ka na. Masagot mo na. And before, kung may mga kritiko sa Comlec, ang rule ko dun is hindi ko sila naaway. I bring them in. Why? Because they might bring up some points that I might have missed, di ba? We might have missed na, hindi naman nakita to. We felt at that time, na legitimate criticism actually helped the election process. And when there were times na may nakita mo yung problema, hindi kami naghihintay na ibang tao magsalita. Kami nagsabi, itong problema. Pero, when we told them that ito yung problema, sinasabi na namin, ito yung solusyon. Itong ginawa namin. Para hindi nung sabi, the world is ending. Okay, the world's ending. What are you going to do? The world's ending, for example, may problema sa makina. yung printers, hindi kaya mag-print for election day. Okay, may problema, pero we ordered additional
Umorder na.
printers. So, it's not only informing the people of what's happening, but also informing them of what you're going to do to solve those problems.
Hindi katulad ngayon sabihin lang, walang oil crisis. Bye-bye. Ganun lang. Tapos, yung ganyang aura nyo, Sir Goyo,
You have to be transparent eh. Makita ng mga tao kung nagsisinungaling ka, nagbobola ka lang. Hindi pwede yan.
Tsaka magre-research din yung mga tao.
Exactly. I mean, say, the president created a crisis committee already, di ba? May EO na, di ba? So, when you speak for the government or for agency or for office of the president, there is a huge responsibility on your shoulders to not only tell the people, but tell it correctly. It's not a game. People's lives are affected. So when you say something, there is the weight of the office that you have to consider in the things you say. It's not about sound bites. It's not about cute, pagpagwapo, pagpagwapa. It's about delivering the message. The work should speak for you. It's about showing the people you're serious. You can do the work assigned to you. You can deliver the message correctly so people understand and people's fears will be allayed.
Offering the solution din.
Exactly.
Dahil ba sa oil crisis ngayon, sir, kaya ina-advocate nyo yung cycling? O dati pa ito?
Dati pa.
Nabasa nga namin, sir, you're a biker first and a lawyer second. Kaya ba konti lang ang trabaho niyo?
Hindi naman. Election law is seasonal. It's like now, wala pa na election, di ba? So, there's work, but it's not as a lot during election time. And before, most of the work I would do is actually for Comlec pro bono. As in, tulong lang. I explained for Comlec. Going back to what you said no, about cycling, we've been championing cyclotourism since 2002. Cyclotourism is where you ride a bicycle around the Philippines, or around the country, or the city, municipality, or province, or region, and discover the beauty of that LGU, province, city, municipality, or district, that you cannot discover if you fly into an area or you drive. Dami kong na-experience na sobrang ganda ng Pilipinas by driving and riding a bicycle. Before medyo payat pa ako. So, okay.
Payat pa rin naman kayo hanggang ngayon, sir.
Kaibigan ka talaga.
Yung pagbabike nyo ba, sir, nakakatulong yan sa pag-iisip ninyo?
Yes.
Tungkol sa, syempre, sobrang hectic at pressured niyang trabaho niyo eh.
We did a bike festival before, the Terry Larrazabal Bike Festival. The Terry Larrazabal Bike Festival, it's in honor of our dad who passed away because of cancer. It was the biggest cycling event in the Philippines. Actually, it was supposed to be the biggest cycling event in Asia. It was considered the Sea Otter Classic of Asia. In one weekend, we had mountain bike races, triathlons, BMX races, and road bike races. So there's about 16 races in 3 days. When you do an event, it's basically event management. How do you fix the logistics, the resources, and how do you make sure people are happy? I tell people that actually helped me prepare for the 2010 elections because it gives you a different perspective. Kasi as a lawyer, yung mindset mo, yung approach mo to solving problems is different as compared to if you add a twinkle of event management or management to the component. So and election is basically management.
Yan, Sir Goyo, ang dami nyo nang na-share sa amin. Kahit nung una, nasabi nyo ay galing kayo sa isang political clan.
Yes.
No? Ito, dadako tayo sa ating segment na Totoo Ba?
Totoo ba? Totoo ba?
Yeah. Ito, tanong namin sa inyo, Sir Goyo. As a member of a prominent clan in Ormoc, sabi niyo po kanina yan, ano po ang hot take nyo? Kasi ito very, very current ang usaping ito tungkol sa political dynasties. Ano naman po ang hot take ninyo para ma-abolish na natin ang political dynasties? Kahit na kayo po ay galing sa isang political clan.
I'm for it. I'm for the bills now regarding anti-political dynasty. Diba? I'm for it. Let you guys think about something. When you say you're pushing for an anti-political dynasty bill, it's a very good concept, but the devil's in the details. How do you limit who can run?
Yes.
For what position? How do you now determine who has the right to run for that position in a family, match that with the Bill of Rights. So, equal protection. So, for example, tayong dalawa, magkapatid tayo, di ba? Pagkatapos may barkada tayong isa. We want to run for office. There's a law that says that bawal magkapatid mag-run, but yung isang pwede tumakbo. So, ako pwede tumakbo. Ikaw hindi na pwede. Yung barkada natin pwede tumakbo. So, you're disenfranchising the voters for voting for a person who might be more qualified. You might be more qualified than me or the barkada, di ba? So, there's a lot of things that have to be hammered or ironed out. Sorry, ironed out. Here's a little thing that a lot of people don't understand or may forget or overlook. You're looking at anti-political dynasty and preventing people from the same family for running for several positions in different LGUs or national, local, diba? But you're not looking at appointing relatives of elected officials. For example, ako, tatakbo akong governor. Pagkatapos, walang ibang tao sa pamilya pwede tumakbo. Pero yung pinsan ko, yung asawa niya, yung anak ng kapatid, lahat nakaposisyon sa provincial government. So
Hindi
which
yan
is worse?
kasali ng
So which is worse? Preventing people from running for office belonging to the same family or preventing people from appointing people to be appointed in office where you are the head of that LGU. Something to consider.
Di po ba pwedeng vote?
Pwede naman. Pwede naman. These are things that, sorry, I'm sure some people not like what I just said, but you're looking at it just from one point of view. When you look at solving a problem, you have to look at it from different angles and different directions to properly solve it. A holistic approach. You're preventing people belonging to the same family from running for multiple positions, but you're not preventing people belonging to the same family to be appointed in government offices where the head of that unit is their family.
Okay.
So, something to consider lang.
Maganda yan, Sir Goyo. At least meron tayong panibagong perspective dito sa anti-political dynasty. Ngayon
But I
naman,
support it. I support it.
sige po, I support it din po. Thank you for supporting me. Sir Goyo,
Yes.
dumako naman tayo sa isang segment natin na fun lang naman ito. Pwede naman kayong mag-explain tungkol sa inyong choice dito po sa One-on-One.
One on one. One on one.
Ang una nating tanong, sinong pinakasikat na political figure ang nasa phone directory ninyo?
Mahirap yun kasi lahat sikat eh. Lahat, everybody is famous is in his or her own right.
Pinakamataas na posisyon na lang.
Wag na.
Ay, sige. Okay. Title ng last book na binasa nyo.
Overlanding 101.
O, ano po yun?
Overlanding 101.
Tungkol saan po yun?
Overlanding, about driving across areas where you are self-sufficient drive. So, I've been doing road trips, basically overlanding, glamping in the Philippines.
Kayo po ang parang Philippine Looper on wheels. No?
Yes. I've driven so many places Philippines. Solo. So, Overlanding 101, that's the last book I read.
Last movie na pinanood po ninyo?
I just watched, it's not a movie, it's TV series, Monarch.
Monarch. Okay.
Season 2, episode 1.
Si ano po yun, di ba yung Godzilla?
Yes, Monarch is pretty interesting because that's a backstory of the company that helped discover all these monsters.
Nadaya o natalo?
You can do both. Like for example, if Daya is if a person loses, you're not only saying that he might have lost because of the count, but because grabbing vote buying. That's Daya. Preventing voters, your supporters from voting, that's Daya. Terrorism, that's Daya. Vote buying, Daya yun. So, pwede natalo, pwede nadaya, pwede dalawa.
Mas gusto nyo ang natalo na lang?
Depende yan eh.
Okay, ito po. Off the beaten path o may mapa?
Off the beaten path.
Okay.
But my ways.
Walang ganun.
Okay.
Ano
Depende. Kasi it's nice to discover things, but only to an extent. For
Parang
example,
hybrid kayo, no?
oo, kasi there's one time I was driving across Negros, biglang nag-Waze ako, pagkatapos walang signal. Tapos, after that, like, saan ako? Like, I did the river crossing. Oh, ganda ng river crossing. Ganda, sobra. Hindi na alon yung kotse. Pero, after that, I won't do this again. Kasi baka masira di ba?
Eto, Sir Goyo, walang cycling, walang driving. Ang papipiliin ko sa inyo, swimming or running?
Swimming.
Ormoc o Cebu?
Both.
Isa lang.
Both na. Kasi Ormoc is where I grew up and Cebu is where I studied and I had an office. So, Ormoc and Cebu, malapit lang yun. It's like 2 hours boat ride lang yun.
Pareho meaningful.
Yes.
2010 or 2026?
I wish I knew in 2010 what I knew in 2026.
Lenny o Sara? Binabasa ko lang.
Oh, both.
Both, okay. ICC o BBM?
What do you mean, ICC or BBM na? Hard to comment there kasi I don't know the parameters of that
Yes.
Pass lang.
Lawyer na lawyer talaga. Fencer o cyclist?
Cyclist,
Kung may babaguhin po kayo sa 1987 Constitution, ano po iyon?
where do I start?
Yung sige, pwede sa election. Bill of Rights.
I guess you can lower the age of the candidates for president and you can put in, like, for example, more safeguards. There are some things that are being discussed now regarding dynasty, term limits. Term of office is 3 years. I think 3 years is too short because the first, kung bago kang na halal, the first year you learn it. Second year, you're starting to work. Pagkatapos third year, election ka agad. I think you have to look at it siguro 4 years.
Sapat na po yung 4 years.
4-year term, pagkatapos maybe 2 terms instead of 3. You give a little leeway to the elected officials to implement changes.
Ito, Sir Goyo, curious lang ako. Mas makakatulong ba sa election natin kung magpapalit tayo ng type of government? Kaya parliamentary.
You know, that's hard because I think what's more important is not the framework but the culture. Yun.
So-
because if it's gonna be the same people in government, no matter what system, it's still them, and it's hard. It's hard to say that. I would rather fix the culture first, fix the mindset, instead of the framework.
May pag-asa pa ba ang Pilipinas?
Oo naman.
Yes, maraming salamat, Sir Goyo. Yun lang naman ang gusto nating marinig, kung may pag-asa pa ba ang Pilipinas.
Oo naman. Every day is an opportunity to change things. If you did something yesterday, it was unsuccessful. When you wake up today, it's another chance for you to do things better to make the change you want.
Yes, maraming salamat again, Sir Goyo Larrazabal, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So ayun nga, akala ko pabagsak na yung conversation namin ni Sir Goyo. Buti na lang tinapos namin na may pag-asa pa pala ang Pilipinas. Pero ang nakuha ko dun sa conversation namin ni Sir Goyo, talagang unending ang information dissemination. Kailangan lagi tayong magbibigay ng impormasyon kasi araw-araw may bagong butanting nadadagdag. At ang ganda nga nung sinabi kanina ni Sir Goyo na may pag-asa pa ang Pilipinas kasi laging merong tsansa ng pagbabago. So, sa darating na eleksyon, ito malapit na naman ang eleksyon isa na naman tong pagkakataon para sa tunay na pagbabago. Kaya sana yung mga Pilipino, matuto na tayo sa mga nakaraan nating eleksyon kung paano bumoto. Huwag na kayo bumoto ng mga nagbubudots. Huwag na kayo bumoto ng mga papogi lang, pakyut lang. Bumoto kayo ng may totoong plataforma at yung may track record. Yan Lahat yan na pag-usapan namin ni Sir Goyo. Panoorin niya sa Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at sa lahat ng social media platform. Ako po si James Karaan. Makabuluhang usapan, ating pagsaluhan. Tara na't magkwentuhan. Ang saya kausap ni Sir Goyo, napakagaan lang. Kasi nung nakausap na namin siya sa Cool Pals dati, through Zoom lang, pero ngayon face-to-face kami. And para ka lang nakikipag-usap sa tsuhin mong hindi lasinggero. Pero nakakatuwa nga yun siguro ako lang ang nagsabi kay Sir Goyo na siya ang Richard Gere ng Comelec. Sana na-appreciate niya, no?
Pero ang pinaka natutunan ko doon sa conversation namin ni Sir Goyo, yung tungkol sa political dynasty. Ang galing kasi, pero parang hindi sumagi yun sa utak ko, or siguro sa inyo na nakikinig din, bago din yun sa inyo, yung pag-assign ng kamag-anak sa posisyon. Magandang perspective yun. Sana nakikinig yung mga gumagawa ng anti-political dynasty. Or siguro hindi naman sila, kahit makinig sila, hindi rin magagawin yun kasi puro interest nyo lang yung ginagamit ninyo eh. Ang gusto nyo lang, kayo na rin ang mamuno. De, joke lang. Pero hindi joke lang. Yun talaga yung gusto nyo gawin.
Kwento ng bayan at kwento ni Juan, inyong pakinggan. Makabuluhang usapan, ating pagsaluhan. Kasama si James Karaan, tara na't magkwentuhan.